Hello and welcome everybody back to Over and Back Live. Oh, 1 second, I have an echo. All right, there we go. Back to Over and Back Live. This is episode 11, and we're gonna open up with our power top 10. With Mally, go ahead.
11 game now, I think, after last night. Yeah. Man,
I like the fact that Desmond Bane's coming back now, and he's been playing pretty decent since he's been back. Especially contributing on rebounds and assists. If he can keep doing that and keep scoring the ball the way that he has off of coming back from his injury, they looking like a real contender. After people counting them out of the playoffs, just calling them a regular season team, they're starting to look like a championship team. And they're gonna bring a lot of energy to the playoffs. They're gonna bring a lot of momentum to the playoffs. Right.
yeah. Nah, yeah, the Grizzlies been playing good ball. Leading John Morant, he's been looking like a top 10 talent all season. He's been playing out of his mind. Yeah, Bane coming back from injury. He's playing, he's starting to play well. Just the unit, and then I think Taylor Jenkins, I'm pretty sure that's their head coach's name. He needs more credit because this team is so young, but they play so well together, and he's got them to jail so fast. And he hasn't been coaching there for about 10. He hasn't been coaching there for 10 years or anything. He's been there for a couple seasons, and he's been doing a great job. But yeah, they're on this 11 game win streak, and I know they feel like they can beat anybody in the league right now. They got a big dub against Cleveland last night, a game that went down to the wire. But I think the Grizzlies are pretty much just one more solid piece away from like actually trying to contend for a title. But I think they can go to the Western Conference Finals this year if they stay healthy and Ja plays like how he's supposed to play. I think they can go to the Western Conference Finals. But nah, they're looking really good right now. Definitely one of the best teams in the league.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, in from from the
But
West, I don't know. I mean, the Nuggets have been playing really good, and they're good at home. They're great. They've been playing great at home. Jamal Murray's been back. I think he dropped 28 last night. He's been looking good. They're starting to ramp up his production. So and Jokic, he's Mr. Triple Double. You don't even got to say too much about Jokic. But now they've been playing really good. I mean, they're getting high quality production from Aaron Gordon. He's playing very nice off the ball next to Jokic. Jokic can find open teammates. He's getting him touches, and he's stretching the floor out a little bit. He's shooting the three ball a little bit better this season. MPJ is scoring like he's supposed to be scoring. So they got a good team. I think if they stay healthy, I don't know. The Nuggets are just. I can see them going to the Western Conference Finals too. I don't know about the NBA Finals though. I don't know if they're there yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did end up making a run. Just because when Jokic is like in that mode, he's really unstoppable, and you need somebody to match up with that. It's going to take another star to go like, game for game with Jokic, and he can do that for a whole series. So I don't know about the West contender. I would like to see the Warriors get their stuff together and find their championship pedigree, and then it's gonna start with winning games on the road because they're 5-17 on the road. That's just inexcusable. I know Steph was hurt a little bit, but even before Steph got injured, they were losing games on the road that they should have been winning with relative ease. I mean, we seen this team last year, and I mean they got the same unit basically. Um, and they had some injuries to Wiggins too as well. So I think after they gel a little bit, we might see the Warriors, you know, separate themselves from the other contenders because they're not playing good at all right now. They're still sixth in the West. So I think they can make a run and definitely finish out top three. And we know how they play at home. I mean, if Golden State gets home court advantage in a playoff series, I doubt that you're winning that. So we'll see. But I definitely like what I'm seeing from the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Kings are playing great basketball right now. I mean, they're definitely nowhere near contending for a title yet, but I think they're moving in the right direction with Sabonis and D Fox because that's looking like a nice duo. I mean, they play well off each other. Sabonis can pass. D Fox can pretty much do it all now, so they're looking great. That duo is definitely probably been like nearly a top five duo in the NBA this season, just in terms of production and what they're asked to do every night. And they go out there and they do it because if they don't do it, then they'll lose the game. So teams like the Celtics and other teams like that, they got more role players and other established players than the Kings. So Tatum and Jalen Brown are asked to do everything. But if they have an off night, they can lean on the people around them. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing from the Kings and that duo for sure. Yeah, yeah. They need Devin Booker back for sure. Mm. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a team doesn't had like that previous experience, and that's why if I had to bet money, I would probably. I don't know who's going to beat the Warriors in a 7 game series because that's a different level of basketball the way they play. But they definitely got to figure it out now because it starts now. You can't go in the playoffs as a 6 seed with a 500 record like they have right now, and then expect to go on the road and have the other team has home court advantage, and they got to just win because they're terrible on the road. So I mean that wouldn't play out in their favor. So but yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying right now. I think the Nuggets can contend with a team like the Cavs. I think that would be a great series. I don't think they're definitely not ready for the Bucks or the Celtics, but I think they can probably contend with the Cavs and really Philly too. I mean, Philly looks great, but we know Joel Embiid and Harden might not be the best playoff performers, even though they definitely are great players and they had good performances in the playoffs, but it's just a matter of can they sustain it for an entire playoff run. And if we see them do that this year, we can see them really make some noise in the East because that duo is really supposed to be the best duo in the NBA if you really think about it. I mean, I mean, Harden play make and do everything, and Embiid is Embiid. So, um, yeah, if they have their team fully ready and they have a good head coach, even though Doc Rivers and another thing about the Sixers, they got Doc Rivers, a coach who's known to lose some series that he's definitely supposed to win. So I think all of that plays a factor into that. So I don't know who would win but I think the Nuggets. If I bet money, I think the Nuggets might be able to get Philly just because I think they've already been to a Western Conference Finals and Embiid's never been. All these years he's been great. They've never made a Western Conference Finals run in Philly. So I mean Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sorry, in Philly. So I think they gotta do that first. But they're playing good right now. We just got to see it in the playoffs because we know how they are.
Few quick things to add. First of all, the Nuggets, the reason they have been winning so many games as of recently, they're always a top team in the NBA in offense. As a matter of fact, they're the top team in offense right now in the NBA. However, over the past few games, their defense has stepped up like tremendously. They're a top 5 team in defense in the last like 10 games. And if they keep this going, if they add defense to that team, like a defensive presence to that team, I don't see anybody that's stopping them from getting out of the Western Conference, to be completely honest. Another thing to add, the Western Conference is a really, really tight race right now.
Yeah,
There's about 6 teams from 8 to about 13 that are 2 games apart. That
right.
in itself is insane. And even from 4 to 10, it's a really, really tight race. Like nobody has separated themselves outside of the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. However, um, if the playoffs started today, the Warriors would be a 6 seed and the Kings would be the 3 seed. The Kings are not beating the Warriors in a 7-game
No, they're
series.
not.
Not
They're
even
not.
going. Then what my point is that the Western Conference playoffs this year will be completely based off of matchups. Who you get to play in the first round and who you play in the second round. It's not. It's more about the matchup that you get. People are gonna want to face the Kings. People are gonna want to face teams like the Thunder if they make it, and the Jazz even. They're not gonna want to
Yeah,
face the Grizzlies or the Nuggets or the Warriors, who are gonna be a lower seed or a Mavericks team. And so it's really gonna come down to matchups when it comes to playoff time, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
why you cannot count the Warriors out regardless of what seed they have, because even if they are low seed, like I was saying, they could, if the playoffs started today, they would have a first round series against the Sacramento Kings.
So that yeah, they're definitely winning that series. But um, yeah, that just shows you. I mean, Golden State just got to win. I mean, if they win 70% of their games in the next 10, so they go 7-3 of their next 10, and they start building up a little win streak. I mean, they can get right back. We can see the Warriors finish as a top 3 seed in the West, and that'll be my prediction. That I mean, when the Pelicans are healthy, I think they're up there too because they're playing great basketball. They're gonna get Zion back. And Brandon Ingram's been hurt this whole time. I mean, when we see McCollum, Bi, and Zion all on the same court with Valanciunas, a very capable player, and who's running the one out there? I'm having a brain fart.
Where
Say it again. Yeah, yeah, the Pelicans. Yeah, he gets minutes, but I'm trying to
CJ
figure out who's their
CJ bring it
starter.
up sometimes. CJ McCollum brings
Um,
it up sometimes.
yeah, but yeah, they got Herb Jones. He's a nice young defender, versatile, can guard probably 1 through 4. Trey Murphy is a nice young player too, 6'9", 3-and-D guy. He can shoot the ball really well. I think he's leading the NBA in free throw percentage right now at 6'9", which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because it's usually like Steph or Jordan Poole, somebody like Kyrie. But yeah, they have a good team, and Willie Green's a good coach. He's only been there for a couple years, and he's got them playing well. So shout out to Willie Green. So I think the Pelicans and the Grizzlies fully healthy, 7-game series. That's going to be a battle. That's the series that I want to see between them. But
You know what
say
series
it
I
again.
would love to see right now? Well, come playoff time, the Grizzlies and the Clippers. That one in a 2-7 matchup would be fun to watch. Very, very
Yeah,
fun to watch, especially a healthy
yeah,
PG. Very, very, very fun to watch.
yeah. And speaking of the Clippers, yeah, now speaking of
Absolutely.
the Clippers, Kawhi's production is starting to go up more. The more he stays out there on the court and he gets a feel for the game, because I mean he's done missed so much time, but I know he's had 30. If he didn't drop 30 his last game, he had 30 the game before, and he had another near 30-point game if it wasn't 30. I watched him play against Atlanta the other day. I mean, he was getting the ball. He was looking like Kawhi, like how he always plays, getting the ball, shooting the mid range, setting teammates
Nobody
up.
could stop him when he played against the
Yeah.
76ers. And just a little tidbit of information, he's played 5 straight games now. That doesn't sound like an accomplishment for any NBA player, but for when it comes to Kawhi, that's
Yeah.
a very, very good game. A very,
Yeah,
very
no,
good thing for him.
he needs all the minutes he can get, and they got to get PG back. and we just got to get them on the court like together. I just
together.
pray that when they both stay healthy and when they're both healthy at the same time, they can just sustain that and play for the rest of the season so we can see them because we really haven't seen them play together for in a playoff run since the bubble. And I mean that feels like it was so long ago. I mean the whole world was different the last time they played a playoff series
Another
together.
little
So
fun fact, they've been on the same team for 4 years now, and they've only played 91 games together.
yeah, that's wild. Yeah, yeah,
And they've
that's
been in the playoffs together and everything. 91 games in total, maybe 92 after a few, last night or something. But um, oh yeah, also John Wall is hurt too, so he's been injured, and he really wants to prove the world wrong after everything that he went through in Houston and Washington. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table when he's healthy and if he can stay healthy come playoff time.
yeah. And Ty Lue's gonna have a great game plan. I mean, there's really no answer for Ja. He's gonna put pressure, like crazy amount of pressure on their defense because that's just what he does. But I think Ty Lue can come up with a nice game plan to, throw the Grizzlies off their game or just throw them some curveballs that they haven't seen all season. So I mean, I think yeah, if both teams are healthy, especially the Clippers, because the Grizzlies will probably end up being healthy for sure. But the Clippers, that's the real question. That's is Kawhi and PG gonna be out there? Because they need both of them to make a run for sure. One of them definitely the team's not good enough to make a run with just one of them. They need
I
both. So
I have a question to pose to you all. Who do you all think will win a 7-game series, the Pelicans or the Dallas Mavericks? Right now, fully healthy, no trades coming in, no information on any trades yet. There are a few rumors, but the teams that they have now fully healthy come playoff time, who do you think is winning?
I think the way that the Pelicans are playing right now, I think they would get them in a 7 game series. But I think the Mavs are still figuring stuff out. Um, they just went to the Western Conference Finals last year, so I mean they definitely got that experience over the Pelicans. But yeah, if I had to choose right now, I would say the Pelicans. But I don't think it'll be like that at the end of the season because I think Luca goes on his magic, even though he's on it right now. I think he goes on his nice little run, and the Mavs start winning more games more often when he's dropping 45, 10, and 10, or just some crazy stat lines. So um and they have no answer for Luca. I know they don't have no answer for Zion or anything, but if Luca's on and he's playing like he wants to play, he can go out there and he can average 40 probably for a whole series. So they're gonna have a problem with him. It really just relies on falls on the hands of Luca. I don't know if we'll see what type of Luca we get, but I mean he's a very good playoff performer, and I think he's played well in every playoffs that he's been in over his career, and he's still only 23. So they got a major problem with Luca. And I think they ramped Christian Wood's minutes up, and he's been looking like he can be a 20 and 10 guy this year. He's been playing good basketball and playing off of Luca. And Jason Kidd's also a good coach too. So that would be a nice series. So right now I go Pelicans. In end of the year, it could be Mavs, but we'll see because that if they both win a playoff series, they'll probably end up running into each other anyway. Yeah, yeah. So that I mean, that's pretty much 3 stars on their team. That's 3 stars on their team, but and then you got a superstar in Luca. Luca needs another star alongside of him. Maybe not like probably not a top 10 player just because I don't even know how that would work too. I mean, you have to pay both of them so much money. Luca's gonna get a super max, even though he's already got the super max. But I mean, so when that runs out, he's gonna get another one. I mean, he's gonna be good for the next 10 plus years. So Luca just needs about like a top 20, 25 player next to him, somebody who can just take pressure off of him. The nice Luca's not feeling it. The other guy can come in and give him, 20 points, 25 points, something like that. I think the Mavs are definitely a piece away from like being a consistent contender because all they do is rely on Luca. But if you got Luca and then you got somebody like like Zach Levine or just somebody like that. I mean, Levine when Levine's on, he's one of the best scorers in the league when he's nice. I mean, when he's feeling nice and stuff. So you got to get somebody who can take some pressure off of Luka, and then I think they'll be better. But the Pelicans definitely got more depth. I mean, they got CJ, Bi, Zion, Valanciunas is a quality. He's on the upper echelon of centers in the NBA because the centers just aren't that good in terms of like the whole league. But yeah, they got more depth than them for sure.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, I think that my mic was off this
How
whole
you muted?
time. Yeah, my shit was off this whole time. You heard me?
We
Yeah, I
still
can't
can't
hear
hear
him.
you.
You heard me?
I don't know what you clicked. Maybe, but it doesn't say you're muted, but we can't hear you.
You can hear me now?
It did.
Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep.
Okay, okay, okay.
But were you gonna add something?
No, I was just trying to fix the mic.
Okay, but nah. I want to swing here. We've been seeing a lot of great performances recently. A lot of people are playing really consistent, really, really good basketball. Shout out to LeBron James, who's about to be averaging 30 here soon, if he's not averaging 30 right now. However, I wanted to ask, who do y'all right now at this point in the season, if the season ended today? Nope. You know what? No, no, no. Let's change that question. Who do y'all think is going to win the MVP by the end of the season?
MVP. Luka's gonna put his name in that hat for sure, but the Mavs got to start winning. They got to finish. They got to finish somewhere between the top 4 and 5, and Luka's got to keep his play up. And I think Luka can get his first MVP. But I know you definitely look at Tatum, who's averaging like 30 and 8. The Celtics are the best team in the league, and it's been that way for the whole season. You definitely look at Giannis and Jokic. I think Jokic might be leading the race right now. Um, it's crazy to think that he could win 3 straight MVPs, but I mean, it's not too many players that's playing as good as him, and the Nuggets are playing winning basketball. So if Jokic is playing like how he's playing, and they finish first in the West, I think Jokic will get it again, and that'll be 3 straight, which would be crazy and make him one of the best players ever. Even though I mean he's definitely an all time great at this point from what we've seen from him, but. I think who's leading it right now might be Jokic. And just the way he plays, it's not like you can really form a game plan to really stop him. So I mean, if Jokic has a bad game, it's really just him being off, really. I mean, he can post up, he can shoot the 3 ball, he can shoot the midi. Did you see that back three he shot the other day to tie the game? Or I think that was the game winner actually.
Yep, it was.
Yeah, that's ridiculous at 6'10", like what 270. That's a tough shot that only guards and wings are usually able to make. So um, yeah, and I mean if you double team him, I mean he's got vision, eyes in the back of his head. He's gonna find the open guy every single time. So um, yeah, I might go with Jokic really because I mean Jokic or Giannis because Giannis is the same way. There's really no answer. You can try to build that wall, but I don't think there's really an answer for him either. So the Bucks are not too far off from the Celtics. The
They're
Giannis
not. I
keeps
think they're.
playing
I
the way
think
he's
they're a
supposed to
game and a
play.
half behind actually. So the
Yeah,
Bucks actually pretty close.
they're just behind them. So we could very well see the Bucks finish first in the East with Giannis averaging like 31 and 12 and 5 assists and leading him to a 1 seed um, for multiple times in his career. So I think if he does that, I think Giannis will definitely have his case as well. But those are my 3 right now too. 3 international guys: Jokic, Giannis, and Luka.
Uh, my three. I mean, I think Jokic as of right now is the most deserving, but like we all know, voter fatigue is real, and they don't spam it back to back to back to back MVPs the way they
It
should.
is.
So I would probably put Tatum Tatum in place of Jokic, but I do get Luca and Giannis also in the race. But I think that
Oh, I
Tatum
forgot about
actually
Tatum. My bad.
has a really good case
Tatum's in there for sure.
because if you look at last year, which even though it's not supposed to play a part, but the last year's playoff run is gonna play a part. This year they've been leading the East all year for real. Like besides the very beginning of the season when the Bucks came out undefeated. After that,
Yep.
the Celtics have been leading the East. Jason Tatum has been leading the Celtics, and he's kind of taking that step towards consistency that everybody was talking about. Like, I feel like Tatum now is really that guy. Like, he was a guy before, but he's really like the go-to guy now, and he lives up to that every single game. He doesn't have a game where he's really like laid a goose egg on the Celtics and really sold the Celtics. So I think that Tatum
Yeah.
and Luka
Besides that
really
game
make
against the
a
Warriors.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
think Luka too. Like you said, the Mavs got to do better record wise. But I think before the trade deadline, that the Mavs might make a couple moves and really try to contend.
Yeah.
But
I can see that too.
Lucas just has some performances and like the 50 triple double, and then he's on pace, not on pace, but Luca could potentially average a triple double. If not this year, he will do it soon. But I think Luca could average a triple double, and he's just all around a stat sheet stuffer. So I think that he might have the
Yeah.
best case when it ends, even if the Mavs record isn't as good, because I think that Luca's just gonna have people beat in points, assists, and rebounds. So it's hard to really argue against if he leads in all three. So I probably would go with
Yeah.
Luca as my favorite and Tatum and Giannis as the other two contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jokic right now because of what he's doing is absolutely spectacular, and I don't think that team is gonna fall off anytime soon. I think they're gonna finish in the number one spot. And if we just close our eyes and say that there's a center averaging a triple double above 25 and a point, above 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists a game,
So he's averaging
or
a triple double.
he's averaging a triple double.
Yeah.
Right,
He's leading the race for
He
sure.
might
right now
have
as we speak, he's averaging 25, 11, and 9.7, so 10 assists, right?
That's 10. Yeah, that's definitely
If
10.
he finishes with this stat line, which nobody's slowing them down right now, I haven't seen anybody stop him from doing this. He's getting these numbers every single game. 25, 10, 10, 25, 14, 10, like every single game. And they're winning. And as a number one seed, I don't think there's any way you can take the MVP away from him. And the crazy thing about that is there's so many people that deserve it.
Yeah.
You can look at their numbers and say this is an MVP season. Joel Embiid is just climbing back into the top 5 for me, and he's averaging 33. He's averaging
Yeah.
33, 10, and almost 5 assists.
yeah.
Like that's insane for me. And he's just now coming back into the top 5 for me. There's so many
Yeah.
guys playing out of their minds right now. It's insane.
Yeah, I think Donovan needs another like great stretch of basketball to enter himself in that top 5 too, because we can't just brush off that 70-point performance that he just had.
Mm-mm.
And then his return to Utah, I think he gave them 46, even though they ended up losing the game. I think Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson played well in that game too. But I mean, Donovan's been on a tear all season. So if he's not in that top 5 right now, he's definitely just outside it. And the Cavs are playing great basketball. They're a top 5 team in the East, and we could very well see them. You know what's crazy? If I had to bet money, I think I might bet on the Cavs making it to the Eastern Conference Finals before Philly.
I
And I
would
shouldn't
too.
be saying that because
No, I would
I
too.
shouldn't be saying that because Embiid, he's better than I would say Embiid's always a top 10 player. Donovan's done entered himself in pretty much in that top 10 this season, based on the way he's playing. But yeah, they got Embiid, and then Harden. He's probably not in that top 10 no more, just because of his play style and the injuries that he's done faced. But James Harden's James Harden. I mean, when he goes out there, if he's feeling it, he'll give you 40, 10, and 10, or he does exactly what he wants to do. He can still do what he want to do on the court when he's 100%. So I definitely shouldn't be saying that about the Cavs over the Sixers, and they got Harden and Embiid. But yeah, I think Donovan deserves some love too. He's in there, and I would throw John
I
Morant
was gonna say Ja.
somewhere in between that 5 to 7 too, because
Gotta
Ja
respect it.
Ja is so good. It's actually crazy. Like there was a debate about Ja and Trae Young. This year, it really hasn't even been close. Like
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young's a great player, but I think even last year, as great as Trae played, he's great. He's a
Mm-hmm.
great player on offense. He's one of the best offensive guys in the league for sure. But this year, it's like the gap is just increasing for me. Last year, I think it was more of a conversation. This year, I think Ja is clearly the better player, and I don't think it's much of a discussion anymore. I think his style of basketball is just a winning. That's a winning formula. You can win behind Ja. I think if you throw Ja on the Hawks, I think they're better. They're not going to be 23 and 22. They're going to be They'll be better than what the Hawks are right now with Trae. And Trae's shots been off this year. He's still figuring out his 3-point percentage. I think it's done went up from 30 to 33, which means he's shooting better and it's starting to get up there. But I mean, he's just not shooting the ball and being efficient as he needs to be. And Ja's always efficient because his buckets are around the rim. But I mean, he's starting to like just the clips. Did you see that dunk he had on Jalen Smith the other day? It's like
Disgusting.
I know Trey don't got no athleticism, but like, come on, dude. Like that's filthy. As a 6'3" guard, in the skinniest player in the league, he's going up on any big in the league, and he will, he will punch it on him. So I think Ja is he's gonna enter himself on that fold too. Ja will probably be top 5 soon, probably over Donovan because the Grizzlies are winning more and they're second in the West. So yeah, Ja's about to be up there too for sure.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things to tell people when you talk about MVP is that it's the most valuable player. Like, so you got to
Yeah.
think about if you take a player away from this team, how good would they continue to be? So, like the Celtics without Jason Tatum aren't going to be the number 1 seed, but they're still a playoff
No, it
level
wouldn't.
team. You take Ja
Yeah.
Morant away from the Grizzlies, they're a lottery pick team. If you take Jokic away from the Nuggets, they're also a lottery pick team. So I think to me, I don't know how the NBA and how the voters look at it, but to me that plays a big part. Like, how valuable are you really to the team? Because that's what the whole award
Yeah.
is for. Luka is
Yeah.
1,000% the only reason that the Mavs can win a basketball game.
That is true. They definitely can't win without Luka. Yeah, and that just speaks to what I was saying earlier, saying they need to add some more pieces around him.
He said, "Do y'all still think I'm crazy for having Luka number 1?" He's talking about like 5 weeks ago. First of all, you so thorough for coming in every week. But he's talking about 5 weeks ago. We was in like the top 10. He had Luka at number
Yeah,
1.
no,
And we thought he was
I remember
crazy.
him.
I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah, we thought he was crazy.
He
Nah,
not that
it's
crazy. He not that crazy.
look, this is the thing. This is the thing with Luka.
number
The
1
people,
too.
nah, he did too. This is the thing about Luka. If somebody puts him at number 1, I still don't agree. But the way that Luka is playing, he is playing like the best player in the NBA. Or see, me personally, I wouldn't say I would. Definitely have Luka in my top 5. He's pushing more top 3.
He's top 3 to me
Than
right
I
now. He
think.
got to be top 3.
Yeah. No, if you had him in your top 3, I wouldn't argue with you at all. I could definitely see top 3. But I still don't think. I mean, Giannis does it on both sides of the ball. I mean, you can't really take that away from him. Luka, I guess he's playing more defense this year, but he's not an elite defender. Giannis would be first team all defense and being the run for defensive player of the year. When he's on stuff. So I mean, that speaks to him being a big, but at the same time, Luka's 6'7". He should be able to guard more than one position too. So I think Giannis definitely has the edge over him, and I can't give him the edge over Steph because when Steph has been healthy this season, they don't need. You think if Steph was on the Mavs, he wouldn't be rebounding and assisting as well as Luka. But if Steph's on the Mavs, his numbers are so inflated, it's crazy. What's Steph averaging right now? Like 37 and 7. If he's on the Mavs by himself with Christian Wood as the second best player, no disrespect to Christian Wood, he's a good player, but I'm saying he's not. It's not expected like much of him to go out there and play on the level that Steph is playing at. Steph is averaging 35 in Dallas, probably easily. I mean, that's multiple more shots that he's getting. And he's
he's
50. And Steph is still 50, 40, 90 this year.
I just wanted to add that Xavier, he also said that he plays at his own pace and controls the game better than anyone, which is actually funny to say because when you watch him, literally he's out there doing whatever he wants whenever he wants. Like any shot he wants. If he wants to get any other player, any specific shot, he gets them there too. It's absolutely insane to watch. I also wanted to add that since we've had this conversation, I don't think it just makes him a horrible player. But Giannis has scored a 7-point game and a 9-point game since we had that conversation. It was kind of ironic that he just started shitting the bed after we had that conversation. But
I don't know what happened in that game against the Hornets, but like 3 games before that, he had like 50. Yeah, the Hornets sucked, but he had like 55 and 10. So shit, I don't know. Maybe he was shooting jumpers that game. I just looked up because I had money on that game. I don't know what I bet on, but I just know I looked up and the Hornets were up by like 20 at the end of the first quarter, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Terry Rozier was out there blitzing them. And I'm like, man, shout out to Louisville Terry Rozier, but yeah, Terry has been playing good.
Terry Rozier will make a couple teams playoff contenders for real.
Yeah, no, if you had Terry Rozier, that's guaranteed 20. He can get you 20.
Give the Suns Terry Rozier. They back at the top of the West.
That's a really good team to put him on.
Chris
He
Chris
just said
Paul, he's definitely starting to decline already. But
Don't get me
bad.
started
by
with
this time
Christopher
next
Paul.
year, we'll be looking at Chris Paul like how we was looking at Vince Carter, like when he was in Atlanta. No disrespect to Chris Paul,
I
but
don't think it's like that because
nah, it
the
ain't
thing
that
is,
bad. But
we looked
I'm
at Vince
trolling.
Carter. No, I
He's
think it'll be
old though.
worse because we looked at
Think it'll
Vince
be
Carter.
worse.
Yes, it could
Here's
be
why.
worse.
Here's why. We looked at Vince Carter, but Vince Carter was on the team specifically for veteran advice for the younger players, and he wasn't getting PT. Chris
Yeah.
Paul, I feel like he's gonna hang on to a starting spot. He's gonna keep dragging teams down and down and down. Right now, he's not dragging them down too much. He is, but not to the point where I see it going. I think he'll keep just dragging teams down, and I don't like saying that because I love Chris Paul.
I'm the
I love
opposite.
watching him play. Grew up on Chris Paul, but the way that he's been playing lately, it's like you can only rely on him in the fourth quarter when he's shooting a jumper from the elbow. Besides that, he's not doing anything else. He's not
Real
getting
quick,
assists
I
he needs
just
to
want to
get.
see how he was playing, how he's been playing like over this recent stretch since he's been back from injury. So I want to look at the first couple, and he's injured again, of course. But
Rozier is a great scorer. He's a sixth man on a contender though for sure. If he was a sixth man, he would be sixth man of the year.
Facts.
yeah, but you know what's crazy about
With
Chris
Will
Paul? No
Vance.
disrespect to him, but he's not really doing anything major this season. But you know, he's never been like a real big time scorer. Even in his prime years, he averaged about like 22, 23 with like 10, 11 assists. So he's never been like a guy to average 28 or nothing like that. But I mean, he's averaging 13 points a game. He's still averaging 8 assists. We know he'll always be one of the best playmakers in the league. So it's not like I'm saying he has no value, but I mean, he's 55 true shooting, 39 from three, just about 40. So I mean, he's contributing. I don't want to make it seem like he's not doing anything,
No, he
but
is. See, this is
I
my
mean,
thing though.
January 4th, he dropped 25 on Cleveland,
That's nothing.
which is pretty good. 25 and 8. I don't know if they won the game, but I mean, he's 37 years old. I mean, what more can we really ask of him? I think they need Devin Booker back for sure because he's not ready to
This is
he's
my
too
thing
old to
with
take that load.
Christopher Emmanuel Paul. when the Suns drafted Ayton, they had the year with Booker and Ayton. They was doing decent. I was like, the Suns get a good point guard. They a real contender. They go out and get Chris Paul, who's supposed to be a good point guard. Chris Paul isn't a winner to me. Like I just feel like the Suns are never
No, he's
gonna
not a
win
winner.
with Chris Paul. So that's my thing is
No, they won't.
he's old. His production is going down. His production is gonna keep going down. He keeps getting injured. What is the point of hanging on? Like, what is the point of having him around right now? When the Suns need the thing that they need is a point guard. If you look at the Suns where they're missing is the guard play. I mean, not guard play because Devin Booker is amazing, but they need somebody a point guard who can not only initiate the offense because Chris Paul can do that. They need a point guard who can get a bucket sometimes, and they got a lot of things they need to fix with Ayton. But I just think that it's not in the best interest to keep Chris Paul around the Suns.
Let's end on that question in a second. The question that just popped up in the chat. Let's end on that after a topic or two, because I feel like that's a good one to close on. But I had another question. If you guys wanted to just shift gears again real quick, are y'all cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. With the trade deadline slowly approaching, what teams do you guys think should make certain moves to make them championship contenders that can significantly improve from the trade deadline approaching soon?
You know, this might sound crazy.
Go ahead.
This might sound crazy. Just hear me out. I'm gonna try to take the bias out. But if the Knicks, we have 3 first-round draft picks in this upcoming draft, that is more than enough capital. But 3 first-round draft picks and a couple players.
Trade assets on the bench. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just a couple players. Like you could throw Cam Reddish in there. You could throw Obi Toppin in there. Don't smile, bro. We're not trading with the Lakers. Y'all don't got no assets, bro. Give us Bron or AD or we hanging up, bro. It's as simple as that. But anyway though, I think I think the Knicks should really try to get Zach LaVine. I think the Bulls suck. They're not gonna win anything. They don't suck, but they're not gonna win anything. They tried the DeRozan and Levine experiment and Vooch. That big three is not gonna win anything in Chicago, nor is it gonna make a deep playoff run. Or they will get to the playoffs and they'll probably lose first, if not first round, definitely second round. But and then we've heard rumbles that they have DeRozan and Levine aren't getting along. They're probably going to break that team up anyway if they don't make the playoffs
Yeah,
this
they
year.
are.
So I think imagine if the Knicks had Donovan Mitchell. We're already seventh in the East right now. If we have Donovan, another 30-point per game scorer, I guarantee you we would be take the Cavs out. I mean, yeah, the Cavs wouldn't even be top five, but take the Cavs out there and put us right there. We would be right behind Philly, and we'd be right behind Philly. I promise you. We'd
It's
probably be like
definitely
the fourth
scary
or
for
fifth seed.
Donovan, but
Yeah, with
there's no
but with Levine,
possible to get.
we wouldn't be better with Levine.
What
But I
what
mean,
would y'all offer for Levine? I mean, yeah, you said imagine 2 first round picks and throw
uh,
in.
really, I would give him Levine's kind of young too. I mean, he's kind of had his
He's
fair
young
share of
and
See,
injuries,
the thing
but
with that
he's
is
he's a better asset than DeRozan. Go ahead.
with
yeah,
with
and
the whole
DeRozan's getting
Levine
old.
situation. I think that Rudy Gobert really messed up the whole trade market going forward for a player that much of a star. I feel like y'all had to throw away
Low key,
a lot to get Levine. Like
low key,
I got a better chance
and
of
that
getting
was dumb.
DeRozan for real. I think that if the Bulls do
Yeah.
make a move, it'll be DeRozan before
It'll be
Levine.
DeRozan. They want to build with Zach LaVine. They're not going anywhere. They know they're not going anywhere with
But
They
DeMar
they
DeRozan.
really need to just bust that whole team up. Really, I mean, if Levine, I mean, Levine hasn't been happy this season at all. Him and DeRozan are bumping heads. All
That's the thing.
Levine has to do is request a trade. But I mean, I've seen multiple reports that the Knicks are monitoring the situation. But I think if we get Zach LaVine, we're a second round team. We could be a second round team this season, and I think that for years to come, maybe not the finals. I don't want to get out of hand, but I think for years to come, I mean, we may not have seen the best basketball from Julius Randle. Julius Randle's still only 28 years
He's had a
old.
few good games recently though.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's had a great stretch of games. In the past month, Julius Randle and Luka have the same amount of points. You can fact check me on that too. Julius Randle has been going crazy. All-star Julius Randle. You heard it here first. I'm a
Yeah.
co-sign Julius as a Knicks fan because nobody else wants to do it. He does have he'll have an off game.
Yeah.
He was off last night. He'll have an off game in a stretch, but when he's on and
I
he's
think he
knocking
should be
and
an
his
all-star
jump
this
shots
year as
on,
well.
yeah, no. He's definitely an all-star reserve. Not no starter, but put him
Definitely
on the
not a
roster.
starter.
And Brunson has been playing great basketball recently. Brunson's only like 25, 26. So you got and then RJ, we haven't seen RJ's best ball. I mean, if you give us one more piece, we are a playoff contender, a solid team in the playoffs that will go for multiple seasons in a row. And that'll take the joke away from Knicks basketball, which is what I've been waiting to see for my whole life. Even though I've seen it a little bit with Melo, but Melo's gone and but we're starting to get back going in a positive direction. So I think the Knicks should try to trade for Zach LaVine before the trade deadline. And if we do, we'll probably go to the second round of playoffs this year. So y'all remember I said that just in case something happens and we ended up trading for LaVine or a player of his caliber.
I like what Xavier just said. He said y'all need Randall to not be y'all's leader. He shoots way too much. I don't think
Yeah, that's why we got Brunson.
he
Brunson's taking
definitely
so
gets
much
carried
pressure
away
off of Julius.
somewhere. And
He
Brunson
does.
can't be a leader either. That's what you all need. If Zach LaVine comes to y'all team, he can be a leader for y'all's team.
Yeah.
Randall's a good player. I think he can be a good player. I think he can be a good sidekick as well.
Yeah.
A A-tier
Now
sidekick.
Julius ain't a one. Not at this point in his career. He's
He's not
definitely
a
not
bad
a
man.
one. But he can be a Robin. Like when Julius is locked in, I'm telling you, he's up there.
I know for
I think
sure.
Julius is probably averaging like 24, 11, and like 4 this season. Them is great numbers. And Julius can stretch the floor out too. Like when his jump shot's on, he can burn it like for real at 6'9". And bro, he when he gets to the rim, he can throw anybody in the league in the paint. I'm telling you, he can baby anybody in the league. Any big Embiid, when like he's strong. He's also one of the strongest players in the league. So I mean, like I said, when he's playing his best basketball, Julius is really looking like one of the best players in the NBA. He just had a game where he dropped 42 and 15. I think it was at Washington, and he dunked on Gafford put Gafford on his back and had his hands over his face like that. Like it's just grown man basketball. I just love to see it as a Knicks fan. So it's just better. It's better from what I've seen last year because he had a little off year last year, but he's looking like Julius during that 2021 season when he was second team All NBA. So
Can
yeah, I
we
like
get
what
your
I'm seeing.
thoughts on which teams will benefit from the trade market the most
Oh, okay.
before we switch over?
I think the Mavs really need to take advantage of the trade deadline. Even though they're a team that doesn't have many assets, I think they got to move away from Tim Hardaway Jr. I think his time with the
And
Mavs
Reggie Bullock.
is and Reggie, yeah, and Reggie
Well,
Bullock.
They're trying to move him right now too.
yeah.
Really, I think that the only people that the Mavs should consider untouchable right now is Luka and Christian Wood. Other than that, I'd
Yeah,
be
and
ready to.
Dinwiddie too. Dinwiddie's been playing pretty
Dinwiddie's
good.
been
I think
Okay,
playing
he
yeah,
good.
got
yeah, yeah. Dinwiddie,
Dinwiddie.
no, Dinwiddie's
Yeah,
nice. I love Dinwiddie's game.
yeah. So them three.
Yeah,
But
those are the
everybody
only
else, I wouldn't
untouchables
mind
to me as a
packaging them.
Mavs. Like, but you gotta
Yeah,
get they need to go get a wing. Hey, DeMar DeRozan is another guy that just like you were just talking about. If they could get a guy on that level who can play the 3 out of 4, do a mixture of both, can score the ball, play some defense. They just need a wing desperately bad. But outside of the Mavs, I don't think it's too many teams that could benefit. But I was just having this conversation the other day with somebody about the Raptors. Raptors look horrible this year.
yeah.
I'm a big Siakam fan. I love Pascal.
Siakam, he's nice.
But I think the Raptors got to move Siakam. I think they got to go all in on OG. I think they got to do some type of trade package, get rid of Siakam, maybe throw Scotty Barnes in there, a couple of other guys, because Scotty Barnes has been wishy-washy too. So I would do it by Scotty Barnes still got a little bit of value. But get a big name in Toronto. Pair up a big name
Yeah,
with OG and some of the younger guys and keep trying to rebuild for the next couple of years. But they know that this team isn't doing it this year. I don't think this team will do it next year or the year after that. So they might as well just go ahead
mm-mm.
and go straight into rebuild mode because right now
Yeah,
they think they're still a contender and you're not. You're not even a playoff team for real.
yeah.
So
But speaking of the Raptors, though,
I don't
I
think
think
Scotty or OG want to be there. By the way,
yeah. But the thing about Scotty though, he won't get moved just because he won Rookie of the Year last
yeah, no,
year,
he
and
won't.
he's in the sophomore slump. The sophomore slump is a real thing. So Scotty, he's young as hell. So I
also,
mean,
mean, they won't touch
even if you
Scotty.
keep Scotty, I think that Scotty and OG are better pieces to build around than Siakam. Siakam's been there for about 7 years now. We know what Siakam is. Like I said, I love Siakam's game. He's like a little baby KD. He's a bucket for his size. He can do it all, but he's not gonna win them a basketball game. Like he's not. I mean, he's not gonna win them a championship on his own. So they gotta just go
Mm-mm.
ahead and move away from Siakam.
Yeah. You
But
know who they need to move though? I think they need to move him before they even think about touching Siakam. Is Fred VanVleet.
Van Fleet, yeah, they
They
need a
get
better
Fred
guard.
VanVleet has not been playing as good as he needs to be playing this year. I mean, even Toronto fans are fed up with him, and they love Fred VanVleet. And he's shooting like 39% from the field. He's shooting bad from three. He's not playing. I mean, he hasn't been the best defender. So I mean, it's not too much he can do unless he's hitting all his shots. And I don't know why he always turns into his old self against the Knicks. But every time he plays a team other than the Knicks, he does not look good. But when he plays us, he wants to drop 33. They gave us 33 the other day. Nigga, you haven't dropped 33 in 15 games. Every time, bro, it actually pisses me off, like really. But anyway, though, Fred VanVleet, after you got that contract too, because he was talking big. If you remember a couple years ago, before he got paid, he was talking big shit. He was like, I've done did this, I've done did that, I've done won a championship, and now it's time for me to get my money. Okay, we're gonna give you your money. Now you go out there and play like how you're supposed to play, and he just hasn't done that. So if I'm them, I'm packaging. And then another thing about OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby's great. He's a great two-way player. But I think this might be not I'm not gonna say this might be as good as he gets, but I don't know if OG turns into a star. Like Siakam's a star. That can be a cornerstone in your franchise. So if you get Siakam a good guard or so just a couple more pieces
We've
around him, I
seen it
think I
before
think the
though.
Raptors would be better. But I mean, Kawhi's a great player. That I mean, it would be some crazy to get, a top five talent caliber up there. But I don't know if they can do that. But I think they
I
would
think
end
they
up
could
keeping
definitely put
Siakam.
together a package. They have to me the most amount of assets to do that. If you package up Siakam, one of the young guys, because they got a lot of young guys, one of the young guys in a pick or two, I think you could go out and get a top five caliber player. But I just think that Siakam is at some point you got to really look towards the future. How much longer are we going to try to build around him? Because when you look at the roster that they did put together, they got a lot of defense, which is, I mean, you can never have too much defense, so it's not bad. They could use some better guard play, but the roster around Siakam right now is not bad. It wasn't bad last year either. I just don't think that
Yeah.
he's a guy
And
that can
last year
lead
they
the
were
team.
decent, but they just
Yeah,
not.
you can't
Yeah,
build
they're
around
not.
Siakam and expect a championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't. You
Um,
can't.
but just to wrap up on that topic, my picks, I have 3 teams that really need to hit the trade market hard. I think the Mavericks would benefit from a wing outside of Luca and Spencer Dinwiddie. I think they can add somebody in their starting lineup that can give them an edge
Wait,
over
before
the
you go
Western
to the
Conference
next
teams.
team,
Continue.
real quick, where's Dorian Finney-Smith? He's hurt, right? Is he hurt?
I think he's still injured. Yes, because I
Oh,
haven't
okay,
seen
okay,
him
okay. Because
play.
I mean, he's solid. He's pretty solid for a wing. I
Yeah,
think
no,
they.
I
he is
think
hurt because they've been giving Reggie Bullock dumb minutes, and I hate
yeah, a
Reggie.
lot of
Yeah,
minutes.
okay. Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Go ahead, though.
Um. Hold on. Would you agree Lakers are a team? Absolutely, and that's the next team that I was going to mention. I was going to mention the Lakers. Obviously, I'm a Lakers fan, but here's the thing: um, they can lock in LeBron and AD, and really, that might be it, in my opinion. Everybody else is valuable trade assets, and we've been known to trade our draft picks away. So who cares if we throw some more in there? Hit the trade market as hard as possible because what's been happening so far isn't working. Obviously, LeBron, his back hurts. AD is gonna come back eventually, but when AD and LeBron come back and they're both healthy and LeBron's been playing the way he's playing, you're gonna need a good team around him if you want them to make noise in the playoffs. Other than that, they're not gonna do anything. I'm a
Yeah,
Lakers fan. I can admit that right now. So what we need to do by the trade deadline is make some trades to get some valuable players that can add anything to the team. Right now, we have no defense and no players, no offense or no defense outside of LeBron
yeah.
James.
Y'all need all the
Plus
help.
19 every single game, and we still lose. I don't
Yeah.
understand how that's possible, but as soon as he goes out of the game, he's almost 47. We play him as much as we can, and as soon as we take him out of the game, the other team goes on a 15-0 run as soon as he leaves. Like he has to be in the court, or we do not play good.
Thing about, bro, the thing about the Lakers is I don't want them. That'd be sad. Like if they invest all this in the trade deadline and then they go on a playoff run and AD just gets hurt again. I mean, it's like you just did all that for no reason. And
Right.
even if you go out and get a couple pieces with LeBron, it still won't be enough. LeBron and AD both have to play every single game in the playoffs, like for them to go. On a playoff run, and then if LeBron and AD played every single game, and you had like one more guy that can get you 15 to 20 and something like that can take a little pressure off them consistently, not just 15 points here and 0 the next game like Schroeder or like, or Russ has his off games and stuff like that. And so I don't know, man. I just
The Lakers,
I think if they don't do anything this year, if I'm LeBron, I'm leaving, bro, because they're just wasting. If I'm LeBron, I'm going back to the East.
he don't care.
He's not
Right now he doesn't care.
he's not
But
gonna leave, but yeah, I would.
he's where but right now he's where he wants to be, like
He
with his whole
definitely
life outside of sports and everything. So I don't think he'll leave
hates losing.
until Bronny gets in the league. Anyways, with the Lakers, to your point, what do they have to lose out on? We've been known to trade away our future, but this right now, we don't have a future outside of AD and LeBron. So if you trade away Lonnie Walker, I don't see him going to another team and doing what Kuzma does. I don't see Austin Reeves going away and doing what even Lonzo does. So if you trade away some of these young pieces that we have right now and some of the even Russell Westbrook, if we trade him, what do we really truly lose out on if we get something at least valuable in return? But aside from them, I also think the Bucks can keep their starting lineup. But if they add and Chris Middleton to come back too, if they add a little bit of help on the bench that'll help them depth wise against certain matchups like the 76ers and the Celtics, I think that'll really, really help them come playoff time. That's what they need to focus on. Do not touch any of your starting pieces, not even a Grayson Allen. But their bench, you can make a few moves in there and see, just test the market and see what you can get there. With that being said, Robert, you still here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
My bad. I was
Um,
looking at the Pelicans roster.
I gotta go to class, but I was gonna post this question that somebody asked in the chat earlier, and I'm gonna have to dip out right after I ask, and then I'll have to hop on the next episode. But
Nah, you good.
Xavier asked, he said, if LeBron, when LeBron becomes the leading scorer of all time, is he the greatest player of all time? And if not, I'm gonna add to the question. If not, what else does he have to do to become the greatest player of all time? With that being said, I want you guys to answer that question, and I'll have to go.
All right, bro.
All
All
right.
right, see it.
I'll go ahead because I know that I already know what your answer is. We know who your
Yeah.
GOAT is. To me, LeBron was already the GOAT, so he didn't have to do that. But with him doing that, it just adds something more for me to throw in there. He's the leading scorer of all time. So I think that LeBron was the GOAT before he was the leading scorer. He's gonna continue to be the GOAT. When he does that, it's just more to his legacy. It's more flowers to him. So I don't think that it was a question for me for real. LeBron's been the GOAT. He's gonna remain the GOAT. But Rob,
Yeah. When LeBron, that's a big accomplishment. I'm not going to downplay it and act like it's nothing because it's definitely something. But I think when he passes Kareem, I think that just shows that he's the GOAT of longevity. Now he is the greatest in that. There's nobody in the NBA, not even Kareem, and he used to be the longevity GOAT, but now it's LeBron. Just being that old and playing at this high of a level, and he takes so much care of his body. So that's just the testament of him being the second greatest player of all time. I mean, the best player I've seen with my eyes. Just not the GOAT, but I don't think that changes anything of him being the GOAT. He's the all-time leading scorer. He's still not a better scorer than MJ. He's not even better scorer than Kobe. But we'll get into that in another episode.
but
But
that's
LeBron,
facts. That's facts. I ain't even gonna disagree.
and he said if not, what does he have to do? LeBron needs another championship and another Finals MVP to close the gap. I don't think he's ever gonna get the 6-6 like MJ. But if he gets 5-5, he's damn near gonna get just as close as you can get. He still wouldn't be the GOAT, but he's damn near gonna get just as close as you can get. And then it'll be like, then that's when I'll be like, okay, it's a real argument. Like LeBron could have had more rings due to these circumstances and stuff like that. And and we could speak on Michael Jordan too. But I think Jordan I think the top three. No, I think the top two will forever be solidified. I don't think we'll ever see somebody better than Michael Jordan, and I think LeBron will be the closest. And I don't think we'll probably see anybody probably better than LeBron. And that's crazy to say, but because you never know who's out here. I've done seen so many kids come up and just be insane. But MJ's MJ and Bron's Bron. So them is really one of one. So I think that top two is like damn near stamped forever, especially in my lifetime. I don't think I'll ever see somebody switch up that top two because it's gonna take about 15, 20 years of crazy
Great
basketball for you to get up to that. Yeah,
Right.
I'm like elite basketball on every night. And you got to do it fresh out the gates too, like how they did it. So it's going to be hard for somebody to get there. But yeah, LeBron, he stamped it too. I can't move him anywhere other than two. But that's great though. He's right there at two. I don't think he can be moved
Yeah, but like you
unless he
said,
wins another chip,
like they said in the
more
chat,
chips.
to me, and that's why the reason I say that LeBron was already the GOAT, but why if it should push him to GOAT status for other people is that Brian's job was never to be a scorer though. Brian is a rebounder, playmaker, defensive guy, but like scoring is one of the last things not the last things. That's a drag. I'm not gonna say it like that. But scoring isn't like Brian isn't the guy you look to always go get a bucket. So the fact that he's number one scorer of all time and he wasn't a crazy bucket getter, it says a lot to me. He's a well-rounded guy. He can do it all for real, but I'm not mad if you say that he's still not your GOAT. It's hard to put him past Jordan, but like it's a big accomplishment. Got to give him his flowers. It is something great to do.
Yeah, no.
Like you
I'm
said,
definitely giving him his flowers.
if you want to make him the longevity GOAT, I'm not mad at that. He is the GOAT.
Yeah. He got that. Yeah, he's definitely got that. He got that over MJ. That's something that I will give him over MJ because even though MJ did retire in his prime, but that is his fault. That's his decision. But yeah, LeBron, yeah, he's got longevity over anybody, so I'll give him that over MJ for sure. That's one thing I'll give him. But other than that, though, I don't know if he's got anything else, but I'll give him longevity.
Yep. And before we wrap up, my mic was muted during the top 10, so I'm just ready to do the top 10 again. So I make sure we got
Oh,
that
your
covered.
mic was muted.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So in the top 10, plus if I'm thinking some people in who didn't hear it anyway, so y'all can enjoy the top 10. But at 1 we got the Celtics. At 2 we got the Nuggets. At 3 the Grizzlies. At 4 the 76ers. At 5 the Bucks. At 6 the Cavs. At 7 the Nets. At 8 the Pelicans. At 9 Sacramento. And at 10 we got the Heat / the Knicks. I feel like those are two teams that are interchangeable right now, playing some great basketball. But with all that being said, it is the end of our episode today. Appreciate everybody for coming in and tuning in to Over and Back. We'll be back next
Appreciate
week.
y'all, man.
We'll be back on a regularly
Yeah.
scheduled basis.
Tune in, man. Back on the grind.
Yes, Sirski.